I liken it to seeing a parent with a toddler. Like if you're at a restaurant and the toddler is freaking out and screaming, and there are the parents that give the toddler what he wants, and that's like
Hmm.
terrible. And white America, when they see these radicalized Black people, because it's not all Black people, but they get the attention, right? These radicalized Black people screaming and wailing about something, they just give them what they want, no matter what it is. Defund the police. Okay, we'll just start talking about defunding the police because you've made that ridiculous, absurd demand that has never been made ever. And so it's hard not to think that this is actually the fault of white guilt, right? This is white guilt gone too far. You guys are like overdosing on white guilt right now.
All right, well, let's talk about the other thing. Enough about COVID. Racism, Candace. It's everywhere. There's more of it to go around than ever before. It's a miracle that they even let you use Skype right now as a Black woman. I mean, what do we do about this situation?
I mean, I think it is really time. The challenge now is to just, dear white people, what the hell have you been thinking, allowing this to go on, allowing this to go this far? You know what I mean? At this tail in between the legs. Hey, look, my ancestors, I can at least say, we were dragged with chains and whipped and beaten into submission. White people today, I don't even know what this is. This is crazy. I mean, I've never seen such people that are just so willing to fight for their own oppression, right? To say, oh, I shouldn't deserve it. I should step down from my job. I shouldn't be in this room. I shouldn't be able to say anything. I should be silent for a day. And it is just it's such an openly hostile, okay society in terms of treating white people poorly. But white people have dug the grave, so it's very bizarre to me. And I liken it to seeing a parent with a toddler. Like if you're at a restaurant and the toddler is freaking out and screaming, and there are the parents that give the toddler what he wants, and that's like
Hmm.
terrible. And white America, when they see these radicalized Black people, because it's not all Black people, but they get the attention, right? These radicalized Black people screaming and wailing about something, they just give them what they want, no matter what it is. Defund the police. Okay, we'll just start talking about defunding the police because you've made that ridiculous, absurd demand that has never been made ever. And so it's hard not to think that this is actually the fault of white guilt, right? This is white guilt gone too far. You guys are like overdosing on white guilt right now. Um,
Not me. Hey, not me, lady. I'm not guilty for anything I haven't done, me personally, but you know.
and so I always just ask, please stop giving the toddlers in the Black community what they want. And similarly, I won't give your, freakish little Antifa white thugs what they want, and there just needs to be more people having a bit of a spine, I would say, in the white community.
Did you sense that this thing was coming, sort of like what we were always up against when we would do college events together, and it would be this odd sort of Antifa thing, but we didn't know exactly what it was, and it was a little bit before BLM had like fully exposed itself to be, but all of this, and as I said to you in our other interview, and as we've always done at every event we've ever done together, we take questions from people who disagree with us first. But are you shocked how quickly in the last 6 months this thing like molded together, and BLM and Antifa and the Marxists and the Twitter troll, like the whole thing just morphed into one really evil monster really
Right.
freaking fast, all sort of under the COVID thing. Like it all happened at the same time.
Right. I wasn't shocked. I mean, I have been warning about this for years. I kept saying during an election cycle, you're going to see race issues drummed up. Now, how violent they've gotten, yes, that surprised me. And also, I would say I've been shocked by the permission they've been given and the excuses and the passes they've been given by politicians. I never foresaw that coming. I would think a store gets robbed, looted, torn down, burned, and no matter whether you're left or right, you would stand up and say this is wrong. The inability for politicians to now acknowledge what's right and what's wrong, that has shocked me. We've hit a real low point when people are saying this is okay, when politicians don't have the spine to say, you know what, I'm actually not okay with funding the police, and we need to isolate this incident and compartmentalize this incident and not say that every police officer is wrong. And so I am shocked at how much the left hates America, and how much the left hates people that do the right thing, because that's really what it's come down to. If you do the right thing, if you earn accolades in life, if you climb the ladder in life, they hate you. And they're saying there's not a place for you anymore. If there's something fundamentally wrong with free markets, with capitalism, with everything that American and Western ideals and Western principles were built upon. So that part shocked me, but not this narrative. I was seeing it everywhere I went, and I knew that they were organized, that they were well funded, and that they were going to come ready to fight.
Yeah. Do you, how do you see any chance of getting out of this thing? I mean, as you said, you expect Trump to win. I think you think he's going to win big. I think he's probably going to win big too. And it's like, no matter if Biden wins, if Trump wins, if Biden wins big, if Trump wins big, it's sort of like, I don't see a way we get out of this either way. I could see some version maybe where if Trump wins by truly a landslide, like a Reagan re-election situation, that maybe finally the last few decent Democrats get the kids out of the adult table, like the kids that they've let taken over. That's sort of what you were saying before. Maybe they do it themselves. But that doesn't seem very probable to me. Do you see any way we get out of this thing?
Well, the only way we get out of it is if people, and I think we are actually going to are starting to get out of it now in a weird way, because people are starting to see socialism manifest, right? Marxist principles manifest. They're looking around their neighborhoods and they're seeing, stores being looted, stores being robbed, violence happening, police getting shot, individual cities that are gone up in crime by something like 267%, right, in New York City and in Chicago. And they're seeing that the suburbs are now being threatened. They're going to come to the suburbs. They're telling people in the suburbs to leave their house. You saw, I'm sure, the video clip, maybe you didn't because you were away, but throughout DC, they were going up to white people at restaurants and
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
saying, put your fist up and say, Black power, or else you get screamed at. So these people are now seeing, you've supported this, and now you've seen what it's become. And I think that once those people understand now, not once they see that manifest, they'll change their perspective and they'll vote differently, right? And then, of course, once if the Democrats lose a ton of seats, it no longer serves them to be funding these Marxist moves. It no longer serves them to stand behind the violent criminals. It no longer serves them to pretend that these criminals were righteous. And you'll see a dramatic change in society. And I think that it will secure, as it did in England. If I'm hoping to see what we saw in England, where after Brexit, it just every vote went to the Tory party. I think that we will see the same thing in America, and we'll save this country for a lot of time to come, because people will not forget this.
Yeah, I sense you're kind of right. I hate when they say the gay community, the black community, the community thing. I hate that. But, I saw this poll just since I've been back that at one point, I guess post the convention, 24% of black people were thinking about voting for Trump. Historically, we're looking at like 4%. I tweeted something like a year ago that I thought Trump was going to get 30% of the black vote. And I know that might be a little crazy, but I think that the mask has been pulled off, and I think something crazy is going to happen. I really do. Are you with me on that?
100%. I've been saying this forever, and I was laughed at in the beginning, right? When I first said Blexit, and I said that my vision had always been 20 points by 2020. I knew it was possible because the left can no longer hide from itself. And I was so happy when AOC hit the map. Because she was just saying it. You know what I mean? The old school Democrats were good at hiding what they wanted. And then AOC kind of took over their party and said, no, this is what we want. And they capitulated to what she was saying. And so they couldn't lie anymore, right? They couldn't lie about the fact that they were supporting these Marxist principles and the destruction of family. Black Lives Matter on the website, destruct the nuclear family. This is wrong, this is backwards. So, and I've just seen so many people, the people you least suspect that have contacted me privately, celebrities, that you would just go, this person posted a black square, this person's a Marxist, and just going, I've had an awakening, and I would like to have a private conversation with you offline. And I think that to me, it's just made me feel just so happy. Like all of this hasn't been for naught. All of the beatings that I've taken, it hasn't been for naught.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about politics instead of nonstop yelling, check out our politics playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.